Hey Sagittarius, thanks for joining me for your May reading. How are you doing? How's new life treating you? I hope that you're well, Sagittarius. So, let's get you weller, shall we? That's what we're here to do. And before we jump into your cards, I want to tell you about the channeled message I was receiving for you. And what I am to understand, Sagittarius, is that in various ways, many of you have and this is just how Spirit put it, a flock that you speak to. Now, when I say that, I want to be very clear that this is not like a shepherd and sheep thing, okay? This is like a community thing. So it's not about leader and followers, but it is about, thought leaders and thought followers. So no gurus, okay? Just great philosophies. Does that make sense? Okay. So some of you have maybe an audience that you speak to, or a network of people, or a team. And I am getting the impression that Spirit is like, your message is very important, whether you're a writer, speaker, teacher, reporter, whatever way this might be that you spread a message to a big group of people, Twitter, whatever. Be measured. And you're a wildfire sign. I understand that. I totally get it. I relate. Spirit's dropping cards. We'll see what they are afterward. But Spirit is saying the way that you get your message across means the difference between, converts and people who become enemies of the cause. People who misunderstand because you really needed, understandably, to get your own, maybe, for example, what they're showing me is somebody posting about something they're really passionate in, let's say, like a political sense, and they're posting about it, and what they're saying may be very accurate, maybe just full of facts, like chock full, but because they also chose to use some like colorful language and maybe humor and sarcasm, maybe a little, bitterness is soaked in there, which for me can make a delightful joke. But for maybe somebody who might have been converted or enlightened by the message, if not for the need to kind of, sorry to be crass about it, but to jerk ourselves off and jerk our ego off and be like, fucking owned you, fucking idiot, got you bitch. If our need to go got you bitch supersedes our need to actually get the message across or get the work done, then, well, priorities, I guess. You know what I mean? No judgments here. This is just what Spirit is saying. Spirit's never gonna judge you, neither am I. We're all here to do what we gotta do. And every path contains its own lesson. So in that way, we can't ever make the wrong choice because we're always making the choice that brings us the lesson that we most need at the time. But I feel like a lesson that you could get from this month is that when you step fully into yourself and what you really care about and are aligned, when you turn down the volume about what other people think or say or use as maybe barometers for success or leverage or whatever. I don't know why Spirit is showing me follower numbers, and they brought up Twitter earlier. Maybe some of you are doing a lot of social media talking right now, or maybe some of you are actual I'm an influencer, or again I'm in the media or whatever, so my following is important and I do speak to people that are looking to me for facts. Or maybe some of you are priests, ministers, spiritual folks who are putting out sermons on Instagram. I'm just saying I'm getting that impression, and even if you're not a minister, you might be giving out some sermons on Instagram. Wow, Spirit always knows. Okay. Okay, Spirit. So, what does Sagittarius need to know in the month of May? Where do they find themselves in this moment? Where are they headed? And how can they most gracefully get there? Hey, where are my Sagittarians with Scorpio placements? Ah! Okay, when I was doing your shuffling, this guy jumped out several times when Spirit was giving me that message about, like, just be careful not to be rash. Be careful that the desire to just kind of own people and get out there and swing your fucking wand around doesn't get in the way of your true mission, which is to awaken people. In various ways, Sagittarius, like, we're all different. That's a lot of swords, Sag. Ah, I love that. Damn, that's a lot of swords. Okay. I need one more. Can I be honest with you, Sagittarius? I also feel like if you speak too rashly, it could lead to, like, a little bit of trouble and anxiety for you. You work, you work your best when you are being a bright, bright light, when you bring truth to things. And you shine, Sagittarius, when you are your shameless, fun, funny, bright self. And in dark times such as these, that's when the stars shine the brightest, right? So, I feel that some of you are experiencing a rebirth and an awakening, and this awakening is contagious. That's how Spirit is putting it. There's kind of a collective awakening happening right now, but there's something very particular happening inside of you, Sagittarius, and I can't help feeling that as I look at these cards, it goes... There's a lot of faith. And I mean that very literally, like what you believe in is... Spirit is having me use the phrase at stake. What you believe in is at stake in you sharing your message. And some of you, the fear may be not that you would do it rashly, but that you wouldn't do it at all. And that you might just hold everything that you're learning and everything that you're healing to yourself. And here's the thing, Sagittarius, nobody is saying that if you don't want to share about whatever that you have to share. That's not what I'm saying. This is going to be different for everyone. It's a general reading, right? Some Sagittarians are going to be like, well, yeah, I am, like, I'm a minister, or I'm a therapist, or I'm a public speaker. And other people are going to be like, God, no, like, I would hate that. And that would kill me. Like, I would hate that. But whether you like it or not, you are the sign of big ideas. You're the sign of philosophy, of religion, even. And how much faith you have in yourself, in your mission, in your message, in your word, directly impacts where you are going to end up. And there's potential for amazing new beginnings. And I feel new location and I feel new job. That's not for everyone. That's for different people. You've got to trust what resonates with you, Sagittarius. There are going to be certain things that I say in this video that ring your bells, and others that are like, nope, that doesn't sound like me at all. That's for some other Sagittarius. Don't worry about it. Regardless of where the new beginning comes, though, there is a across the board promise to all Sagittarians, some kind of refreshment and that feeling of, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. I have faith in exactly where I am. I have so much faith in what I'm doing that it almost doesn't matter what the result of the work is, because I am so firmly rooted in the work itself, the purity of the work itself, the purity of spreading and crafting the message. It is untainted by anxiety, because the message is more important than the medium. Some of you might have fears around being seen. Maybe others of you have fears around success or being loved. You're going through a pretty dramatic change. And I think it is maybe putting some of you at odds with maybe people you even formally completely aligned with and understood. Don't be afraid to grow. That's not normally a problem for you, Sagittarius. You're the eternal wanderer. You are always searching. You always want the truth. And this may be a moment where your truth, your concept of the truth, broadens. And that's one of your favorite things, broadening your horizons in every which way. Don't cut yourself off. This is showing up as the potential future, okay? This is where I'm going to remind you. A tarot reading is like reading a really good weather forecast. It's like, hey, as we're looking at the past few days, we can project that looking at the next few, the weather is going to look like this. And there could be some minor, rises or dips, but it's not going to go from, 95 degrees today to -30 tomorrow. We know that for sure, right? Your free will is everything. If you like where a reading is going, awesome. Like, great. I don't have to do anything very differently. Maybe take a little advice that was thrown down as like, hey, you could do this, that might help. But everything else is like, it looks like it's going a great place. I think I'm good. And if you don't like where it's going, the beauty in getting a reading is saying, well, fuck that shit. Like, I definitely don't want to end up feeling like this. So what do I need to do? I need to get really clear about why I'm doing the things I do, why I'm saying the things I do. And if I don't believe in them anymore, if I have changed, then let me awaken and arise and be like, hey, you know what? I've changed my mind on this. I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to be, childish or anxious about it. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to be innocent. Maybe some people won't like it. I'll live. They're not going to, draw and quarter me. They're not going to feed me to the lions. We're past that point in history, thankfully. So I'm going to speak my truth. Turn down the volume. That's what I'm hearing, Sagittarius. Turn down the volume about what everybody else is doing, thinking, saying, so that you can hear yourself and get your thoughts in order. And basically separate the wheat from the chaff. The why. Why do I want to do this? Why do I want to say this? Really getting clear about it so that whatever you have to do or say, you feel perfectly at ease, even if it means walking into a maelstrom. Like, if you were a man and you had a ton of, maybe you frequent like certain like forums, and maybe in some of these forums, this is just an example, okay? Maybe in some of these forums there's really toxic language about like women and like sex and whatever. And maybe you go through this kind of like inner journey where maybe 2 years ago you talked just like this, and this is when you got into this group and you bonded with these people, and it was like, yeah, this feels right, this feels like home, like this is good, right? This way of doing things, like I think like this is fine. And then you go through some stuff and you have an awakening, and maybe you have to feel like you have to, in front of this group of people. It could be a group of people of a certain ethnicity. It could be a group of a certain gender, whatever. It could be a political affiliation that you once had, that you've had like, oh, I've had a change of heart. I've had a change of soul. And I'm afraid. Do I have to keep this to myself? Like, what do I do? You have to feel strong enough and sure enough of your faith, of the thing that you believe in, that even if you know this is gonna suck, but I have to speak the truth and I'm going to be okay. The Strength card in Tarot is about inner strength. This is all about being able to walk into the maelstrom because you're okay. What did Lao Tzu say about if you've fought the battles within, there's no opponent on the outside that can take you on? I'm paraphrasing. But that's the idea here that Spirit is getting across, is if you are sure within yourself, then you have no problem, giving your Sermon on the Mount. I don't know why Spirit is giving me like a lot of like big idea and like kind of philosophical, religious, political kind of like iconography here. But some of y'all are about to deliver like a Sermon on the Mount, and you got to know that you're going to be okay no matter how the people react to it, because you're that okay with what it is that you are putting out into the world. And again, your message could be your art, or the things that you post or whatever. I need you to trust your own intuition and follow the through line in your life, since it's a general reading. If it were one-on-one, this would be much easier to be like, this is what they're talking about. But in any case, Sagittarius, when your inner lion of the natural, the evolutionary strategy, one of them that humans have developed is don't go against the majority, because then you might get kicked out of the fucking tribe. And back in the day, you couldn't survive without a tribe. What are you going to do when the monsoon season comes and there's nobody here to help you hunt or keep the fire or build a shelter? You're going to die. That's what's going to happen. But if you're in the tribe, you've got a shot. Many hands, right? So we have still this deep primal fear of being singled out, of being the only one, of being the weirdo, of being on the outs. I think that a lot of you need to face that big primal fear and know that your inner lion is not going to roar out and abandon and attack you the same way these other people are, because you've gone inside, gone within, and had your reckoning. Now, your inner lion, what could that be? That's whatever wild emotions that come out without our permission. Rage, depression, anxiety, the gamut of things that are like, oh no, oh God, if I don't want anybody to see me like this. It could be uncontrollable weeping. You know what I mean? Anything like that. You have to not think of that as foreign or wild, only in the sense that, yes, as wild as I am, because it is a part of me. So there is a wild part of you, and it doesn't need to be caged or beaten or even, trained. It needs to be respected. It needs to be heard. Like, if depression comes roaring out at you or anxiety comes roaring out at you, you don't want to try to stuff them back into their cage or beat them into submission or even outright kill the lion because you're just tired of feeling this. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. And and secondarily, you will walk much stronger through life with a full-grown, well-respected and treated lion next to you that is like, hey, this person feeds and cares for me and has every day since we met. So if they need me to go wild on a motherfucker, I will. And if they just want me to stand here and walk quietly, I will. I feel there's a lot of transcending of fears, and it's taking you somewhere new. Some of you may be moving on to new jobs. Some of you may be moving on to new locations. I just keep feeling that it's kind of like, okay, what's the next thing? Like, we're getting toward the top of this hill, this plateau. Like, what's next? Hello, Sermon on the Mount, 3 of Wands. My ships are coming in. Where am I heading? Well, if you want to get where you're going, here's the key. The only thing holding you back is you. And that is not a judgment, that is a good thing. If we look at this chick, on first glance, she looks trapped. But if we look for longer than a single second, we can see she's just standing among some stacked up swords. And she is, she's not bound by the feet. Her arms are barely bound by very loose bondage. And she has a blindfold on. So if she literally or figuratively shrugs off her bonds, they will drop to the ground. She can remove her blindfold and she can move on. Now, it's okay to be scared, and it's even okay to stay in the dark for as long as you need to stay. But Sagittarius, you are a bright and wild fire. You don't do well staying in the dark. So maybe that's why maybe that's why you can't help but share this message. Because it's like, I'm not in the dark anymore and I need everybody to know this. Even if they turn on me, even if they decry me, if I know that it's right inside, then I know what I have to do. Damn. What are you creating, Sag? What are you putting an end to? You're moving on. And I like where you're going. And it's not like you to be in your head. So let's get these thoughts in order. Let's get these thoughts in order, even if it takes putting them on paper. This is what I'm afraid of. This is what I want. This is what I want to do. And these could be the consequences of this thing that I desperately want. Risk reward. Is the risk worth the reward? And if it is, if the reward is so incredible, if the reward is so incredible and amazing that if like future me from 3 months from now could come tell me how amazing it was, then I'd have no problem speaking my truth today, or putting out my work today, my message, my truth. So pretend that you from the future can come and tell you how amazing this is going to be and how much it's going to set you free to speak your truth or to share your truth, whether with a flock of a couple or a flock of thousands. Take your time, but when you know that that time has come, speak only what you know to be true. That's actually one of your greatest gifts, Sagittarius. So I have complete faith in you. Complete faith. And here's the thing. If you speak from love, then you really can't go wrong. If you speak from a place of, I'm aligned with my higher self, and my higher self truly wants just love and liberation for all beings, then you can't get too off track. Right? Right. So what are you doing, Sag? What are you creating or making? Are you writing something? Like, this feels big. And I'm very curious. Maybe like some of you are making maybe books or documentaries, because this feels big. It's like a big idea. So I'd be very curious. You don't have to give away the secret sauce in the comments or anything, but I'd be very curious if any of you were willing to tell me how this might be resonating with you. Very, very curious. And very excited for you, Sag, because even though this looks just damn revelatory, and there's nothing you like better than like pushing fences and broadening your horizons and facing your fears. And that's what this looks like. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like Freddy Krueger, like as soon as I turn and look at you and go like, what the fuck? It's going to dissolve, okay? In the face of the beauty of what you know, what you worry about is nothing. Yay, glory be. All right, Sagittarius, thank you for spending this time with me. I really hope that this is helpful. And if you liked it, I would really appreciate if you would like it and comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff really, really does a lot for the channel and helps me get the message out to more people, helps YouTube go like, oh, maybe we should show this crazy lady to some other people. So I would appreciate it if you do. Thank you, Sagittarius. Love and blessings to you and yours. Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy. And if I don't see you in a video before then I will see you in June. Bye, Sag.